Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Oh yeah, it feels good actually. Nice, nice, nice. All right, let's see. Where's everybody at? Okay. Yeah, I know it's early on a Friday. Folks is like, what is KT doing here? Right? Greetings to whoever that is. You first up at bat. Let's see, let's see. I'm waiting until more people come in. Oh wow, it just jumped. Okay. All right. What's up? What's up, superstar? How you doing? Everybody's up in here. First time, first time getting here early. Congratulations and welcome. Happy Grand Rising, KK. Fatima, peace and love to you too. Yes, morning, morning. Welcome back. Keep it coming. All right. So look, I'm about to get right up into this thing. Okay. So if you notice in the title, it says the device. This device lets you feel any emotion instantly. There's no pills, there's no side effects, and there's a live demonstration. And without further ado, I present to you Hapbee. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and look at that, isn't that a little bee on there? Isn't that ironic? You being the honey man? Because when you deal with bees don't fly, right? They're levitating because they're creating those toroidal fields within inside the ether that creates this bubble that allows them to just like zip around, right? So if you've been following me, or not even following, just tuning in and riding with me over the years, you know that I have always spoken on how important frequency in the field is in respect to health. So food and diet is cool. You know what I'm saying? Herbs and tonics are cool. But I've always talked about the sun and the energies because electromagnetic frequencies is what run everything. Hence why we're so affected by chronic diseases right now because we're dealing with 5G, we're dealing with towers and smartphones and all these non-native electromagnetic frequencies, the blue light, so forth, so on, affecting our circadian rhythm, our thinking, our mind. I feel good. And you know why I feel good? I feel good because this device I'm wearing works. So I've mentioned to you before that the future of health is going to deal with light and frequencies. One person that does understand this is Yaki. I'll give him a big shout out because he's out there in St. Louis with his clinic using, state of the art equipment to help diagnose, the people. I've also spoken on Germany because Germany they're the leaders when it comes to the technologies, because they have the infrastructure in order to build these things. So when it comes to health, in order to get you in a certain state of optimum health, you want to make sure that you get your charge up and you get your frequency right. And we do this by grounding, we do this by getting in the sun, we do this by attaining a flow state, right? Now, what this technology is, it's in the category of PMFs, which is pulse magnetic, frequencies. However, it's a little bit different than the others. All right. And I find it quite interesting. That's why you see me wearing it. And it's been very good because I live a very stressful life. I have a lot of hats I wear and octopus arms I got to use to juggle and keep things going. And to have something that is able to keep me focused and keep me relaxed, but also keep me motivated and I get my rest, but I also am active. It's sometimes it's hard to keep that balance day by day. And to have anything that can give you a boost will help. We know in antiquity, when we dealt with Kemet and we dealt with the Olmecs and we dealt with, any other group back in the day, ancestral tribe, they all had their own technologies connected to gemstones and metals, because they gave off certain frequencies and reacted with the ether in a certain way. Okay, big shout out to G Cell. Yo, I've been using this to help me sleep. This is next level tech, KT. Always on the cutting edge. Yeah. I didn't even know he's gonna be up in here. Appreciate that, man. Good look. Good look. So let me tell you what this device does right here. Okay, I call it the ox goad. You know what I mean? Which is lamed in Hebrew, the ox goad, right? Because an ox is a very powerful and strong beast, right? And we used oxen to till the soil. So how do you take this big monstrosity and get it to do something as gentle as tilling soil, right? How do you get it to obey you? So they would have a goad, an ox goad they would put around the ox's neck, and that was used to direct the ox. So when you think of Lamed in the Hebrew alphabet, right? Lamed deals with the ox goad because it is responsible for being able to control and direct the powerful primordial energies of Aleph, because Aleph is essentially the ox, that powerful primordial force. But you don't want it to control you. You want to control it, right? So that's why I see it kind of shaped like this, because it's here to try to assist you in the controlling of the primordial powerful forces of hormones and frequencies and energies, so you can navigate through your day and through your evening properly. All right, now how does it work? So when I talk about melatonin, because I say how important sleep is, right? So sleep is necessary because it represents Amun, the black sun. It represents the hidden one. It is the time of rejuvenation. It is the time of regeneration. It is the time of restructuring before giving birth. It is the time of the baby being in the womb before it actually is birthed out of the canal. This is what the Amun energy represents. This is what you sleeping represent, because that's what you do when you sleep. That's why it's so important that you sleep. Now, in order to get good rest, your body produces large quantities of melatonin in the evening. This is offset by blue light and insulin spikes through television, eating foods, things like that, which drop your melatonin down, and you don't want to sleep and you're up all night, right? Melatonin is a very, very important molecule that is really fuel and energy for your mitochondria. And it is a molecule that is very similar to DMT. It just has carbon dioxide attached to it. That's why decarboxylating melatonin is equivalent to psilocin from a psilocybin mushroom, or DMT, right? Hence why you dream and have, all of these kind of illusions, or rather hallucinogenic effects. If you told somebody, or try to describe to somebody what a dream was that never had a dream before, they would say, oh man, you was hallucinating when you were sleeping, right? So melatonin, in order for it to be effective, it has to connect to receptors in the body. Your body is made up of systems, and your systems are made up of organs, and your organs are made up of tissues, and your tissues are made up of cells, and your cells are made up of organelles, right? Well, your cells are similar to you in that, just like you have a skin that encapsulates all these systems in your body, so does the cell have a cell membrane. And inundated throughout this cell membrane is receptor sites. These receptor sites is what allows signals, molecules, factors to connect to it in order to change the dynamic within inside the cell. Just like someone knocking on your door, right? Because you could be sitting in there. Let's say you sitting there, you talking with a nice lady, or you a lady and you talking to a nice guy. Y'all rapping by the fireplace and everything like that. And there's a knock at the door. That's going to startle both of y'all, right? Guy's going to get up. He's going to walk over to the door. And he's going to check to see who it is. And based on who's on the other side of that door, he's going to determine who comes in and who doesn't come in, right? And that's what your cell membrane does. So, and the receptor sites on the cell membrane. So melatonin plugs into receptors in your cell membrane, and they change dynamics that are inside the cell and the nucleus, which then result in a change of behavior or the production of certain chemicals within inside your body, such as falling asleep, which, is going to change your brain waves and put you in a certain state where now you want to close your eyes and rest. So when the melatonin plugs into a receptor, okay, there is a conformational change that occurs, and the result of this change is a particular frequency of vibration, okay? With this frequency and vibration that occurs based on the connection of this molecule and the receptor site on the cell membrane, what results from that is a certain magnetic vibration, a certain magnetic fingerprint, so to speak, right? You know that if it's raining outside and you walk in someone's driveway and there's a big rectangle where the concrete is not wet, oh man, there was a car here while it was raining. They just pulled off. That's why this area is dry. So there's some type of shadow or reference that is left behind that shows you what happened before. And in this, it's a magnetic shadow or a magnetic fingerprint. So what this company did is they patented the process of being able to record the magnetic vibration that occurs when certain molecules plug into receptors. So we got things like melatonin, caffeine, CBD, THC, and I got a few more here. Hold on. Let me tell you what the other ones are so I could get them all to you. I said caffeine, right? I said nicotine, and then it's also, let's see, where you at? One second, y'all. I hate to have y'all wait. Okay, so we got caffeine, adenosine, which is the basis of adenosine triphosphate, theobromine, melatonin, alcohol, THC, CBD, nicotine, a hunger suppressant, Viagra, and antihistamine. These are all the frequencies that this device broadcasts that you pick up. Now, I know I said some things that are kind of controversial, right? Like nicotine, alcohol, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what you talking about? Viagra. But understand that the ill effects from these particular things are based on the physical connection of these things actually being in the body. Well, this is dealing with frequency, so you're not dealing with any side effects, but you're getting the effects. So you get the effect of drinking a cup of coffee without having the effects of what coffee does. You see, you end up doing the happy hour without getting drunk and hurting your liver. You follow what I'm saying? You get the effects of nicotine, right, without having to light up any squares. And the interesting thing about nicotine, the acetylcholine receptors, I spoke on this before, especially on Patreon with the whole Jab Decoded series, and some other private series that I did where I talked about the amount of animal toxins and venoms that were found in people's blood that was suffering from COVID. And that there's a big connection between snake venom and the symptoms that people were suffering from. And one way that it was revealed that these symptoms were removed and that there was remedy was by people taking nicotine or chewing nicotine gum and things of that nature, because the nicotine plugs into the acetylcholine receptor, which is the same receptor that snake venoms plug into. So because they were plugged into it, they couldn't affect it. Hence, the symptoms and the different things that they were dealing with at the time, went away. So what I'm telling you is that I'm wearing a device right now, and I feel good. I can't lie. I had a lot going on before I had to start this live, and I had to get my mindset. I was like, bro, you're about to do a presentation on the device, so use the device. So I put it on, and it's instantaneous. It's like within the first 5 seconds, you feel kind of a warming effect. You definitely feel a change. You could feel that you are dancing with energy rather than it being something that you got to eat and swallow and digest and process and get through and hope that it's still potent enough. It's like there ain't no half-life with a frequency, So right now I'm using afternoon slump. All right, afternoon slump. Okay, that's what I'm using right now, afternoon slump. Okay, because in the afternoon sometimes people get they be ready for a nap because they got up maybe 5, 6 in the morning, been going hard. By 2, 3 o'clock they like, I could take me a nap or a break or something. They need a second wind. So shake off the midday slump with a smooth, easy pick me up that won't leave you feeling wired. This is a great way to re-energize and refocus whenever you feel yourself starting to drag. All right. And it's playing right now. I have it playing, I think, for like 15 minutes. And I feel good, but they have, we got morning coffee. We got afternoon slump. We got master your attention, coffee break, smoke break, vape break, creative boost, email mastery, wake up, deep work, workout zone, Riz, autopilot, and then you got my favorite, which I should have on right now, genius mode. Love that genius mode. But that's just some of them. And I read 8 because it's 8 categories, but out of those categories, you have different particular recordings to play, So we can go back and they're in the categories of sleep, mood, and perform. And I think that the one that's about to come out is mind. So it's going to be sleep, mood, perform, and mind. All right. Well, okay. So this is a good question. Does it only affect your personal field? What about others near you? I think it affects others near you. My girl, she has one too. So she'll be using it, you know what I mean? And I'm by her and I could pick up on it. I could pick up on it indirectly just through conversation and talking to her because she's like in a certain space. So her mind's in a certain space. So she's talking a certain way, and then I'm responding to her a certain way. So then that affects me. Then if I like hold her hand, we connect, then our electromagnetic frequencies are interlocked. So, we both benefit. Of course, it's better for you to have your own, but yes, it can. Genius mode, don't play. You'll look up and it's hours later, pure focus. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm so happy that there's somebody on here that has been using it already so they can see. So just so you know, I have a lot of companies that reach out to me and they want me to promote their products. And, it takes me time to review and really go over things and see if I even want to, deal with folks. But this particular device, this company, this direction is something that I totally rocking with, and Jaylen Brown, Celtics, we've done work over the years, he actually deals with the company too. And he advertises the device as well. So I'm actually an ambassador, and you're able to go to the site, which I have in the description, and get your own device. They also have a sleep pad for the bed, which is like, bro, you trying to really regenerate and rejuvenate overnight, they got that too. And you're able to get your device, get your subscription, and I have a code that you can put in, which is KT10. It's also in the description, and you'll get a discount, if you decide to purchase a device and get the subscription, so you can enjoy this. Now, the other thing that this company offers, which is very rare, is it went public, and it actually is offering shares. So you get the device and jump on. You could actually buy shares in the company, and the shares are actually it's worth more than what you're investing right now. So there's already return involved in it, and this is a great time to get in these things. When you're thinking about Bitcoin and you're thinking about Apple, I know y'all done heard this 1,000 times on social media. How would you feel if you knew about Microsoft in the 70s? When you could have put it, you know what I'm saying? Uber, Lyft, and all of these things. What if you were privy to these things prior to them happening? Where would you be at right now financially if you invested? So this is the future of health. I've spoken on it before. I was out the gate with the blue light blockers, the circadian rhythm, the honey, the Bontana oil, Fonio, baobab powder. There's always some technology or blue light toxicity, technological information. I'm always ahead of the game. Even COVID, you know what I mean? I was first out the gate with that. So this is me coming to y'all, letting y'all know this is definitely the future of health. It doesn't mean herbs is getting played out. It doesn't mean eating well is played out. No, what we're saying is now it's kind of like when we took herbs back in the day when Savvy was dropping them in the 80s, we weren't dealing with half of these frequencies that we're dealing with now. It's probably 75 to 80% more poisons and toxins in the environment now than it was then. So yeah, when we was on Savvy's list, when we was taking those herbs, we didn't have much our body was battling with other than crack in the community, drugs in the community. But now we're dealing with so many other things. And what this does is it provides an even playing field. So you're getting back to the 70s and the 60s and stuff. So you don't have so many things bombarding you from the environment. So when you do eat a certain way and work out and stuff like that, it is going to affect your body way more than it did before. So yeah, now this is not on my site. This is nothing that I'm shipping out responsible for, anything like that. I'm just here letting you know that this company I speak very highly of, I'm a representative of, and that you can go to Hapbee.com if you want more information on this device. If you're interested in getting it, I got a coupon code for you so you can get 10% off. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. It's amazing. So for those of y'all that are smoking cigarettes, been trying to get off, try the nicotine. You know what I mean? People that got insomnia, can't sleep, try the melatonin. Folks that brain is all over the place, you got brain fog, or you just can't quiet your mind, and you got like an ADHD where you just like you can't like focus on one thing. You're gonna do focus. You're gonna do genius mode. These are the things that are gonna help and assist you. And then while you're doing these things, you take some kukumeka. You take some guaco, you take some ukulele, you take some honey, you take some Fido, you take your vitamin D. You do the workout frequency on here. You go in there and you bust it out. You know what I mean? You lock in and you really do that work. But no, it's not. Somebody said, is it on your website? What am I looking for? What's the name of the product? No, the website is hapbee.com. Hapbee. This is it right here. Hapbee. Like happy, but like a bee, like Nestle nectar. You know what I'm saying? That was also a good sign for me. You know what I mean? This is a sticker. And if you see, it's a logo of a bee, but it's like an infinity symbol, right? And then it's like the little frequency joint where the stinger is. I just love what all was integrated into this design. It reflects, everything that I'm on and I'm about. But yeah, the site link is in the description of this video. The name of the product is the Hapbee device. And yeah, that's what you're looking for when you go on the site. Everything is self-explanatory on there. They give you all the information you need, frequently asked questions. They got contact support. They got all of that, but I wanted to introduce this device to you. And what I'm going to do is a series where I'm going to go through each one of these particular frequencies that they offer. All right, so I'm gonna do a caffeine. I'm gonna do an adenosine, a theobromine, a melatonin, alcohol, THC, CBD, nicotine. I'm gonna do all of them. Some I might do 2 or 3 in one video. Some might just be one video. Like melatonin might just be its own because melatonin does so much. But I wanted to introduce this to you. And as I've gone through this, let's see. Yep, it's done, and it's done because it's not blinking anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put on genius mode now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go on genius mode. Let's see, where you at, genius mode? I just added up. Yeah, and then you have combos. They combo some of the frequencies too. They got curated mood experiences. So you got like meditation, networking hour, neural sculpting, where it's 4 different. So they might do one of this frequency for a certain amount of time, one of that frequency for a certain amount of time, one of that frequency for a certain amount of time. You could tuck this under your hoodie, under your sweater, under your jacket. Another thing you could do is, I'm looking for my my genius mode. Give me 1 second. All right, so I'm gonna do genius mode for an hour. All right, now you see it blinking. All right, there you go. All right, and I'm gonna put it directly on the crown like that. Boom. Yep. So now it's directly on the brain, and it's crazy. This looks like the halos from Minority Report. Don't get scared. This is good frequencies, okay? Now, do we have any questions? Yes, it's next level, and you can invest. That's right. You can invest in this company. Shares. There's stock opportunity, stock options in this opportunity. You go to hapbee.com, you'll see for yourself when you subscribe. Like I said, put KT and the number 10, KT10, and that's also binary code for those of y'all. But yeah, man, I'm on my, I couldn't do this with the afro. You know what I mean? I couldn't even do it with the froski. As far as I know, is it safe during pregnancy? Yes. I haven't heard that it was not, because like I said, it's not anything that is dealing with you actually ingesting something that can cause all these other reactions. You're having these connections and these resonant fields without side effects. Okay. Any other questions? What else was I going to say? Yes, any pain relief. Yes. There is pain relief in here too. Oh yeah, this genius mode is hitting. Whoa, okay. Yo, it feels good though, man. Frequencies is real. Energy is real. Because when you meet somebody for the first time, whether you vibe with them or not, right? You like, oh, I can't mess with this person, right? You could go in a house and be like, oh, I don't like the vibe. Or you could go in another house and you like, oh, it feels like my grandmother's house in here. You just plop on the couch, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And it got me wanting to sit up straight now. It just made me want to crack my back and like sit up. That's interesting. I have so many questions. I don't know where to start. Yes. So the pain relief would be a combination of certain things. Because, when you're dealing with pain, think about it from a scientific perspective, right? Pain isn't a bad thing because it's your body notifying you, yo, something's wrong. But you go through your sympathetic nervous system, and you got anxiety. So if you could reduce anxiety, then the pain won't be as effective towards you during the day. And then you have other molecules that help, not necessarily to numb pain, but to make it more manageable. And then when you have this manageable area of pain, and then you're also reducing the anxiety, guess what? Now you can allow the body to fix the problem, because as long as there's a 5-alarm blaze going on, it's difficult for your body to jump in and do the necessary work it needs to do, because it's under a state of emergency all the time. So if you remove that state of emergency, and people are like on the beach, sipping on Mai Tais and mojitos, you know what I mean? And skipping rocks and on the ponds and the lakes, just breathing, then you'll be able to spend that energy and that time properly, assisting your body getting better, and then the pain subsides from a holistic standpoint of healing. All right. Any more questions, y'all? Any more questions? I'm here to answer. Yep. It's good for kids. It's good for children too. Yep. Studying exams. They're getting distracted, getting on their phone, wanting to play video games, wanting to talk to their friends. It helps with that. Yeah, it definitely affects your immune system and your DNA. It doesn't like mutate your DNA or anything like that, but it's going to help with like inflammation. It's going to help with with how strong and efficient your immune system responds, because like I said, you're removing the anxiety, you're removing the sympathetic nervous system being stressed all the time. And then also, when you're focused, when your mind is coherent, it's not just you being able to utilize that in the immediate work you're attacking. It means that your entire body can now operate under pure focus. You understand? So let me give you an example. Let's say you're in a university, you're in your last year, it's exam week, you got to do all these papers. There's parties going on. There's all these girls want to holler at you, or there's these guys that you're interested in, whether you're a man or a woman. There's all these things happening, but you got to focus, right? You got to focus. So you kind of like block everything out, and you hone in on what needs to be done, and you get that paper done and that work done. And it's just, you're just so amazed at how you were able to perform, right? So that state that you're in when you're doing that is not just brain and the paper in front of you. It's your heart. It's your lungs. You got to have a certain breath when you're focusing. Your heart is beating a certain rhythm at that time. You know what I mean? Your blood is purified. There's a song and dance going on inside your entire being to generate that focus. So when you're dealing with focus, when you get your mind focused on a thing and you're able to get rid of distractions, get in like a genius mode and hone in on stuff, that is a holistic thing, Yes. Yeah, I'll be restocking Tech Canoe sooner than later. Where we at right now? Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. So curated mood. Let me go back to this. Neurosculpting, R&R, reset, restore, stress support, summon. Okay, so look, summon my muse. Drop into a creative zen and bring out the best ideas in a relaxed state of mind, perfect for the most focused creative work and spontaneous design inspiration. Stress support routine. This is the perfect mix for when you need to stay focused and productive while managing stress. You got ZZ's flow. Prepare yourself with a breathing exercise before stepping into a solid yoga flow. Wind down with a centering meditation practice. Reset, restore, relax. Take an hour to collect yourself, reset your mind, restore your sense of peace, and relax into the next big thing. Just think about it this way. As you ask me, does it help with this? Does it help with that? Does it help with that? What is the unified issue we're all dealing with these days since the 4-year lockdown, huh? It is focus. We are very distracted. We have so many obligations and things we have to handle. There are things popping up and coming down the pipe every 2 seconds. Whenever you think you've accomplished something, two, three more things pop up. And there are times you want to just scream. There's times you want to like kick something, you know what I mean? And just holler to the heavens, because it just seems like it's never ending. But that's part of the anxiety. That's part of the stress. That's part of the overwhelming nature that the sympathetic nervous system is responsible for when it is overworked. So if you deal with that, just think about, what if I was able to offer all of y'all $1 million right now? How calm would y'all be? Right? You'll start thinking about all the things you could take care of, the lifestyle you'll live, even though a million ain't what it used to be, right? But I'm just saying, for example, I know it helped a lot of people. But just imagine the relaxation that you feel, you know? Okay. Let's see. KT, do you feel like you struggled with focus before using the products? How long have you been using it? I struggle with focus at times. I do. I'm a father. I'm in a relationship. You know what I mean? I have a family. I have a business. I have clients. A lot of people definitely depend on me, and sometimes because there's so many things that have to get done, it can get overwhelming. And that sense of being overwhelmed does affect my focus. Um, because it's nothing for me to sit down and read something or do something. But while that happens, it's like, you got to take care of this, right? They're waiting on this, right? You only got amount of time to have this done, right? Have you even started this thing over here? you know? So that definitely affects my focus. And I would say that, yes, when I put this device on, it definitely does help for sure. It, because another thing that I was doing before this device is I was drinking the Delta drinks. There's these juice that has THC in the drink, and I drink the drinks, and then about 40 minutes later, stuff, I'm hitting it, and I'm way more calm. My mind's relaxed, and when I'm in that state, that's when all the ideas, the downloads come flooding in. It's like God is constantly downloading me with insight, but it gets bottlenecked due to my lack of focus at times and stress sometimes. And that's not to say, I don't drink chamomile or have teas that I drink. All of that works. But I don't even have to get up and make anything with this. I just turn it on, throw it around, and turn it on my phone, and I can continue to do what I'm doing. And I'm making teas, I'm getting products and stuff like that. I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to go and prepare. I got to take it and everything like that. Here, I get to do it and keep going. Or I could do it and I could just sit and like meditate and breathe and allow it to take effect, you know? Yes, the pills are my older brothers. Red pill, blue pill are big bros. Yes, we have the same mama pill, and yeah, we've always been brothers. But just like any other big brothers, they got things they on and things they got to do. Um. Oh well, thank you, Jalen. Yeah, I do my best. I do my best. That's why y'all don't always see me because when I'm not on here, I'm going crazy. And then I get out, by the time I get through all my craziness, I'm like, okay, I could talk to the people now. But y'all don't want to see me when I'm like going through one. You know what I mean? I'm a Scorpio. Matter of fact, my birthday is next week. I'm about to be 44. 44. Yes, I is. 44. I'm gonna be dodging blue pill all week. You understand? I'm be dodging them all week. He's gonna come get me because I'm 44 now. Uh, but yeah, I got a great week coming up. I'm looking forward to that. And I said all that to say, I'm a Scorpio. Scorpio sting. So, if I get in a certain mood, man, y'all, yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to deal with me in that state of mind. I'm ruthless. I can be ruthless. I do, but I channel it and I woo-ha and I woo-sa and keep it all in check. Okay, it's a good question. How do you compare the results of this product to the results you get from your lifestyle of clean eating and mindful living practices? Well, I have different lifestyles that I deal with. I have times where I fast. I have times where I'm real strict on like raw, super vegan. There's times where I'm eating fish, and getting my DHA and omega-3 levels up. There's times where I'm even more slack. I might be snacking and eating other things I don't need to be eating. So I have these different modes that I'm in. I have my exercise and my workout mode. I have my lo-fi workout mode where it's just like walks and stretching and light things. So I have these different modes that I'm in. And regardless of which one that I'm in, I'm taking my products, I'm taking the herbs, I'm eating sea moss, I'm grounding, sometimes more than others, obviously. And when I'm really focused on grounding, getting up every day and I'm sun gazing and I'm having my sea moss and my vitamin D and I feel amazing. But not but however, there's still stresses can still affect that. And sometimes when stressful situations arise, it affects the motivation to work out or to walk or to take this thing or to do that thing, because motivation is a result of effort, not the other way around. Effort is not a result of motivation. You have to put forth the effort, and from effort motivation is born. And the more effort you put in, the more you're motivated. So it's this kind of um, negative feedback loop, that occurs. So with this device, like I mentioned before, it's like things happen, stress comes about, and I can put this on, and it just calms me because it's not it's not something where I have to put all this work in, and then my body through the work produces a thing that I'm now experiencing that makes me feel a certain way. No, it's already giving me that frequency. So no, I'm not saying, oh, just lean on this for every little thing that you do. No, this is a what do they call it, a combo pack, a cofactor, a kickstand, a some truffle oil in your mashed potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like mashed potatoes is good, but you add a little truffle oil in there. It's like, yo, what type of mashed potatoes did you make? It just adds on. It makes things more convenient, more simple. And like I said, you're not dealing with side effects or any extra. You get to control the amount of time. It's very effective. I know I've benefited from it greatly. And like I told you, Jalen Brown is a spokesperson of this. Remember, he's an MVP and an NBA Finals champion. During that year, he was definitely on Fido. He was on Nesu Nectar dropping his eyes. He was on Guaco. He was on C3. He was on Sotriol. He was on all those products that I provide, but he also was using Hapbee as well. And I would like to say that Hapbee, as well as the things I offered and the things that he did for himself, because he is his own man and he knows how to accomplish these feats also based on his family and his upbringing. And that carried him all the way to where he won and, where he is right now, where he's leading the Celtics, so that was a good question. Thank you. I hope I answered it. KT Herbal University is back in full effect. You can send an email if you're an old student. I'm allowing free access to all the old students to the new class. So if you're just hearing about this, then you're going to send an email here, info@psionicbotanicals.com, so we could get you entry. If you're a current student, you already have the emails and everything to correspond with me. So just correspond with me that way and I'll answer whatever questions that you got. If there's anybody interested in Herbal University, pre-enrollment's done, enrollment's done. We actually got started. However, based on how this platform was able to assist me, I am able to take on a couple more students if need be. So if there's anybody that is interested in being an Herbal University student, which is someone that is going to learn how to make 26 formulations, they're going to understand about the field, Unified Healing Physics, which is my upcoming book, and my phenomena that I like to express and explain in regards to herbs, the body, health, healing, wellness. Then you can reach out to us, info@psionicbotanicals.com. Pre-enrollment was 1,000. Post-enrollment is a little bit more. Reach out to us. We can talk about the cost of the program. And you get PDFs and videos and instruction. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of the things that I learned coming up under Dr. Sabi and Mama Pill and what I've learned on my own. And these are going to be strictly herbs out of Mexico, Honduras, and tropical regions of Central America, not the domestic herbs here in America that was in the first class. So it's going to be a powerful course. And if anybody's interested in it, reach out to us here. Also, anybody interested in the honey wholesale, this was advertised at the beginning of the year on Brother Rich's platform as well as my platform. A lot of people said that they needed time to get the funds together throughout, during the course of this year. We're now about to hit November tomorrow. So anybody who has gotten to that point that they're able to do the wholesale or they're just interested in hearing it for the first time, I offer a business package for Nesu Nectar if y'all are still interested in that. Or if you're hearing it for the first time, if you want further information on it, you want to do a wholesale account with me with the honey, then email me here. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. I love that. I no longer wear reading glasses after using Nesu Nectar. That's what I'm talking about right there. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, Evelyn. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And these are the results that I'm talking about. We got people that got glaucoma, reading glasses, stigmatisms. Everybody is just having an amazing experience with the honey. So, if you haven't gotten the honey yet, I suggest you go and jump on it. Now on the site, I don't have, actually, I'm going to be doing a 30% off sale this weekend, Halloween leading into my birthday. It's going to be a 30% off sale and it's going to start today. So I'm going to have that up. And right now, though, there's a sale with the honey. It's not on sale individually, but together there's a package of a dropper and a jar. And the dropper in the jar, you're saving, let me see, you're saving like $200, I think, $250. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like I'm just giving it away. But you got to get that particular package of the two of them, and you'll save. So you have the dropper, and then you'll have the jar, which can refill the dropper, and it can also be used to put in teas, to take doses for yourself, to use on your skin, for women. If you request the applicator, I can sell it with the applicator so you can insert it vaginally for the vagina. So it offers a lot of things. But yeah, just wanted to mention Herbal University, mention the honey wholesale options sales going on. But most importantly, we're talking about Hapbee right now. Let me see. This is a good one. Does the product adapt to my tolerance levels, or will I eventually max out the technology? I'm just wondering if the results are infinite. That's very good. So you would have to ask yourself this question. Does melatonin adapt to your tolerance levels, or will you eventually max out on melatonin? Is melatonin still effective to you to this day? I don't know how old you are, but I know my demographic is roughly between 25 and 44. So let's just say you're like 32 or something, right? So you've been on this planet for 32 years. And when it's black and it's night and you've had a long day and you lay in that bed, you're still going to sleep. So your body hasn't gotten, hasn't neutralized melatonin to the point where you can't sleep no more. And if you are dealing with insomnia, then that's more of a circadian rhythm issue, not a melatonin issue, where melatonin is not working no more. It's just like you're not producing enough, Wait a minute. You're 32? Stop playing. Can you confirm, are you telling me that you're actually 32 years old? I'll wait. Oh, genius mode. Genius mode. I told y'all. Come on, man. I know my demographics is between 25 and 44, I said, right? But come on now. 32. I didn't even say numerous names, bro. Numerous numbers. Come on, bro. That's wild. That's wild. All right. So I got to get ready to wrap it up. I have some consultations to do today. So I'm going to take a few more questions and then I'm going to go. But yeah, man, what is that? That's crazy. That's insane. I mean, it's not insane. It's just like it's amazing. It's amazing when things work in real time. Like when I do events and I drop honey and people are like, oh man, I could see the fine print all the way across the room now. I could never see that. You know what I mean? All right, KK, I appreciate it. KK just got one. Okay, so she got one by using the code. Her device was only $288. All right, so I think it's like a 300 plus device, but with the coupon code, you get 10% off. So she got hers for $288. Thank you, KK. And like I said, the link is in the description. The coupon code is in the description too. But yeah, I put this on genius mode, and the brother made a comment, and I guessed he was 32. He was like, "Yeah, I'm 32." Amazing. Do I have anything for facial skin on the website? Definitely that. You want to get the purple sea moss. You want to get salve. You want to get Montana. Most of all, you want to get Nessu nectar. Nessu nectar takes away the crow's feet. Reinvigorates the collagen production, making the skin supple again. You see how my skin look. Y'all know my skin is always. I'm 44. I'm 44, man. I'm 44, and I'm not even on my top right now. I could look better than this. So the honey is going to help, especially when you mix the honey with sea moss gel and make that into a face mask. That's one of the greatest things you could do, you know. But yeah, I have a lot of things on the site. Y'all can go to the site right now and jump on that. Um, KD free, I don't know, but I'll tell you what I know about broken bones is going to be sea moss. Sea moss is going to be the way to go. Sea vegetables is the way to go. They got all the calcium and the calcium salts in there, and they stimulate, those types of things. All right, hold on one second. All right. So yeah. But yeah, I have something for everybody on the site for sure. Could jump on that. But yeah, wanted to come and introduce the device to y'all. I'll be back to talk about each individual frequency one by one to let you know how powerful this device is. But this is just an introduction. I'm just joining live, so this device doesn't have harmful EMFs and such when you're sleeping with it or having it on for long periods. No, it's magnetic. These are magnetic frequencies. All right, so it's dealing with the magnetic field, in their fingerprints, so to speak, of the magnetic field that is produced, magnetic frequency that is produced when certain molecules are attached to receptors, and these conformational change and MOAs start to occur. That's what these frequencies represent. So you're essentially creating these things within inside of your metabolic pathways without actually putting drugs, chemicals, um, secondary plant metabolites, molecules, components in your body. It's all frequency based. And yeah, these are very harmless and beneficial frequencies. See, frequencies aren't bad. It's just that when we deal with blue light and we deal with 5Gs and all of these are specific frequencies that are harmful. They're hand selected harmful frequencies. These are hand selected beneficial frequencies. Okay. Yeah, if you need a consultation, Soul Reasons, we have consultations available on the website, so you can book a consultation. You're welcome, Evelyn. Thank you. What is it called on your site? My site is soulionic.botanicals.com. You can go there to purchase anything. The device that I'm speaking of is hapbee.com, like happy, but with a B, HAPBEE, hapbee.com. And the link is in the description of this video. The coupon code for a discount off the device is here too. You wonder if it'll increase the flow. It'll actually help you with those cramps though. This device does a lot of things, and I suggest y'all jump on it while y'all can, maybe even invest in it, get some shares of the company, but definitely get the device and start using it as we go into Thanksgiving, Christmas, these holidays, the low light cycles, the extra food we're going to be eating, the toxicity, not just of ourselves, but of our loved ones, our family, our friends we got to deal with. This device is really going to give y'all a great, like, up and up, But yeah. All right. So I want to thank all of y'all for joining me today, Friday, as I introduce to you this wonderful future technology, Hapbee. As I mentioned to you before, the link is in the description. Coupon code is in the description. Sale on the site. Anybody interested in Urban University, right here. I'm KT the Arch Degree. I appreciate all your questions, your time, and your support. And I'll see all of y'all soon. Love and light. Peace.